Hey everybody, good evening. Welcome to my kitchen. Tonight we're comparing a couple of sleeping pads and sleeping pillows that I have. I've got the Klymit Static V and the Klymit X pillow as kind of like a baseline, and then I've got the Teenage Outdoors now Rakaia Designs new dual chamber sleeping pad. I did some beta testing for them, and they were kind enough to send me out a pad to test. I've got the scale set up here, and I wanted to show off some weights. So let's show off the weights, and I'll go into some pros and cons. All right, first up, I've got the Teenage Outdoors and now Rakaia Designs dual chamber pad. This version is 646 grams. I was talking to their CEO the other day, and I guess that they swapped out some material, and the final release version is going to be down at 550 grams. Next up, we've got Teenage's dual chamber pillow. That comes in at 150 grams. The X pillow, which comes in at 79 grams. And finally, the Klymit Static V, which is kind of their entry-level sleeping pad, comes in at 572 grams. Before I set these up on the floor, I wanted to point out one thing that I actually really like about this Teenage Outdoors pad. The pad itself fits very comfortably in here, but one of the things I really like about the guys over at Rakaia Designs is that they make it big enough so that if you want to, you could take this pillow out and stuff it in with your pad. The Klymit Static V is just barely big enough to get back into its bag, and it's uncomfortably tight to try and get the pillow in there without its separate stuff sack. One of the easiest ways to shed some weight when you're out backpacking is to get rid of stuff sacks, and so being able to stuff both of these items into one stuff sack is a real pro for me. All right, let's go set them up. Me blowing these up, but I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. One thing that I like about the Klymit design is their valve design is really handy. Rolling this out. I'll show that off here in just a sec. The fabric that Klymit uses is really high quality, which is nice. And we're inflated. You may or may not hear my little girl protesting going to bed. I assure you she's fine and well taken care of. So here's the X pillow. It's their lightweight pillow. It's, according to their specs, 3.5 inches thick and 2.25 ounces, or 64 grams. I think it came in just a hair higher than that with the stuff sack. But let's blow it up. That's more of the classic twist valve, and a couple of breaths there. Good little pillow. All right, I'm going to blow up the Rakaia Designs next. Okay, so like I mentioned, Teenage Outdoors, now Rakaia Designs. One of the things I do like is they did send me out some repair patches with this thing, and a little deal to tie it up. Rolling it out, it's a little bit longer than the Klymit pad. Now, one thing that I will point out is this one feels like a cheaper material. Now, that said, this is a beta product, and so it's not the final. And the way that this pad works is you're going to blow up one side, and if it fails in the middle of the night, you can blow up the other side and keep sleeping versus having to stop, find your repair kit, repair everything, put it all back. So it's basically two pads that are sandwiched together. I'm going to go ahead and blow it up, and we'll talk a little bit more about them side by side. All right, so that's fully inflated, and that is side by side with the Klymit, pretty darn close. I'm going to blow up the pillow next. I'll go from there. All right, it says Rakaia Designs pillow is a very similar concept. One thing I do like about this one is the fabric is softer than the Klymit pillow, but it's the same basic concept. So you got two pillows that are basically sandwiched together. Now this one doesn't have the one-way inflating valve, which is kind of a pain, but I think that they are changing that before they release it as part of our feedback. So let me go ahead and blow this up. You can see how problematic it is. This one does have the two-way valve. So it's just this side that doesn't have the one-way valve in, which is a little bit problematic. Like I said, I like this pillow a little bit better because it's a little squishier. The fabric has a little bit of stretch to it, where the Klymit is basically the same material as their sleeping pad, which isn't bad, but it's not super comfortable. You really need to put a t-shirt or something over the top of it to get comfortable. Okay, so comparing these two side by side, there's some real pros and cons to both. When you grab the Klymit stuff sack, they really did think this design through when they did their stuff sack. All of the repair patches have their own little handy pocket here, and that keeps everything in one place so that if you do need to find it, it's there, it's handy, it goes with your product, and it's really handy to keep it there. The Klymit is very comfortable to sleep on. It does have these little kind of side rails, for lack of a better term, that keep you there. And I didn't think that it was going to make that big of a difference, but the way that they've made these baffles here really does help keep your insulation lofted, which is going to keep you warm throughout the night. I think this thing has a R value of 1.3. Don't quote me on that. But it's basically an uninsulated pad. They do make several iterations of it, and those insulation values do go up. I think that their insulated pad has an R value in the 4s or 5s. But again, don't quote me on that. Go check out their website. The Klymit X pillow, I found it a little hard. Now that said, when I sleep in my hammock, I really like it. But when I was sleeping on the ground, I found that it was kind of uncomfortable. My ear would stay in the X, but if I needed to sleep on my back, there was kind of this weird hump in the back of my neck. The Rakaia Designs pillow has a little bit more stretch to it, and it doesn't have that X, but it feels a lot more like a regular pillow than an air pillow because it does have a little bit more give in it. So it's not like sleeping on a balloon, which is the problem with a lot of air pillows. Now talking about the Rakaia Designs dual chamber sleeping pad. I felt like the valve wasn't as well thought out. Now this is a beta version. I feel like the valve wasn't as well thought out. Now when they do final release, they may change the valve design, and this may be a completely obsolete review. But I felt like the valve wasn't super great. When I think about their kind of final product, hopefully they change that out. It has kind of a similar baffling system, so you can see it's got these grooves here, and very similarly, it kept my stuff well lofted. This pad, the side rails are a little bit more sporadic, but I didn't find that to be problematic at all. The two pads are really closely sized. I think that the Rakaia Designs might be an inch longer, just looking at them from over here. But all in all, these are two very comparable pads. I think that are pretty comparable prices. The biggest benefit to the Rakaia Designs pad is if in the middle of the night, your pad goes flat. All you've got to do is flip it over. So let's say I'm going to deflate this side. So boom, I've gone flat in the middle of the night, and that sucks. All you've got to do is come over here, open this up. See, there's that valve again. Open this up, and you've got a whole nother pad here ready to blow up. And so you blow it up, and you're back in business, and you don't have to stop in the middle of the night, find the patch kit, try and find the hole, or suffer from a miserable night's sleep, which is something that camping, if you sleep, you generally have a much better day the next day. So for me personally, having that extra utility is really worth the extra value. Now, I don't know if they've released an R value on this yet, but I expect that it'll be slightly higher than the Klymit just because it does have that extra layer of padding in the middle, but I can't speak to what that actual R value is. So all in all, the Teenage Outdoors, or the now Rakaia Designs pad, is pretty well thought out. That dual versatility is really worth the extra value. The Klymit pad is a great intro-level backpacking pad. I do recommend it. Really, both of these are pretty bomb-proof designs. And really, I think that both of these companies have done a good job. We'll see you. Give us a like and a subscribe if you want to see some more videos. And if you have any products that you'd like to send me to test out, feel free. You can reach me through my channel, and we'll see you guys next time. Happy camping.